Hey everybody, and welcome to Straight Talk with Bren O'Brien and Tim Rowe from the Straight. It's a special edition of Straight Talk today. We're at the Magic Millions up on the Gold Coast the day before the first yearling sale of the season, and with us is Magic Millions Managing Director Barry Bowditch. Barry, first of all, we'll start off with an interesting weekend, I suppose. Probably not the way you wanted to kick things off with the meeting having moved on Saturday, but give us an update of sort of where the track's at and I guess what are your sort of expectations about how the week will progress ahead of Saturday's big meeting?
Yeah, g'day guys. Great to have you here. Look, not ideal. It was really disappointing going into Friday. And obviously on Saturday we had a bumper meeting plan. We had a lot of investment and resource put into it to have to move the meeting was disappointing. But to get people across to the Gold Coast and give them a feel for what we're going to do there in the future, I think was really important, and it went over very, very well. So we've got a lot to look forward to long term with what we're doing here during the carnival. I think it'll be a huge meeting for years to come, the Twilight meeting, and obviously featuring the Sunlight, which was a great addition in its first year. For this coming Saturday, obviously, it's no secret there's plenty of works going on over there. They've got a plan in place on what they can do to achieve a surface that can be raced on Saturday. And from all reports, and I'm no expert in this sense that they're highly confident in the plan they put in place. And look, we should learn more by the middle of the week. And obviously, you always have contingency plans, but at this stage, there's no reason for us not to be confident that we'll be walking across the road and having a race meeting here at the Gold Coast on Saturday.
I did see you on, a lot of people, Jerry Harvey getting in there with the entertainment. You carried on with the Phantom meeting, as you touched on. Does that give you the confidence that people will show up next year and that, you've got the calendar right the way?
I think the blueprint's perfect. I think, having a party vibe Twilight meeting to begin the week. Obviously, when it comes to the second Saturday, it's hard to get too many more people than we're already getting there. So be able to give that Magic Millions feel, especially to our clients, and then give them a touch point of what goes on a race day here at the Gold Coast from a Magic Millions perspective is really important. And I think this is a race meeting we can achieve that at. And I think, just sort of gets the week started. And obviously, clearly we're giving out, $6 million in prize money at that meeting. So that just shows you that, it gives people good positivity going into the sale. It's just, it's, having a syndicate race and a wave and those after last ditch 2-year-old races. I think it's just a really good program now that leads us into a sensational week.
Let's turn our attention to the sale. Yep. And what are your expectations of the week? Obviously, it's a bit of a different format this week. We condensed into 4 days. Obviously, Friday's a bumper session. I mean, what's your sort of vibe? What's the feel and the vibe that you're sort of getting from around the grounds?
Look, I think inspections started here strongly last Wednesday, considering it was New Year's Day. I think, we're very confident in the quality of catalogue we've got. I think the types have, married up very, very well for us. But, there's no secret. I think at the, lower end to the mid end, there's probably going to be less depth. It's tough out there for some people. And, I think that'll be evident at different points in the market here. You're either we're going to, sell a lot of that sort of, lower end for less money, or we'll be passing a few more of those horses in. So it'll be important that the vendors meet the market in that end of the market. I think, above the average through to the high numbers, I think there's great depth, and I think we've got plenty of buyers here that can facilitate, the top end of town, as long as everyone keeps their feet on the market. But, I'd like to think, the industry's in pretty decent shape out there. And, from a buyer's perspective, this could be the perfect storm. I think vendors are going with their eyes wide open on what the market is, and buyers will be able to walk in here tomorrow and bid with confidence and take home horses that they'll be in raptures to own.
I'm hearing, Barry, on the floor, if you can back this up, that the vets have been very busy, and you've stressed this year after year for buyers to keep their lists long, that some of these agents are doing that, prepared to spend more money on vets to go, well, actually, I think I'm a chance of buying, X yearling that normally would be out of my price bracket. You see that playing out?
Yeah, I do. I think obviously if you haven't done your due diligence when you walk into a sale of this nature, and with how big our catalogue and how much depth it is, you got to remember most of the breeders in Australia bring most of their best quality of horse here to the Gold Coast if it's ready. So therefore, if you don't keep your lists long, and you'll miss opportunities the whole way through. So I think the buyers are getting accustomed to that, and they're starting to do their due diligence, get in early, get their work done, and the vets, as you've just said, have got big lists of vet, and I'm just hopeful that, everyone is there to seize the opportunity as it arises. And from our perspective, it's about, working with our vendors, getting them on the market, and giving the buyers the confidence, which I'm sure there's I'm sure they're going to see that tomorrow, that they're bidding genuinely in the market.
What about the quantity of buyers? Very confident with the sort of depth of that buying bench. Across the right people are here. That there's, we see because it's our face year after year. That's the nature of the industry. But you feel like there's some new investment there, but also that there's that there's an enthusiasm for continued investment.
I think there is. I think there's enthusiasm definitely to buy a horse. I think most people that were buying horses over the last 2, 3, 4 years are still they're still really confident to come and step in and buy horses. They may well buy 1 or 2 less here and there. That's the thing. I think, they're just the volume of horses that each particular buyer buys may be tempered. But, that's where the opportunity lies because, like if someone else is there, that roll-on effect that someone might buy a horse they didn't think they'd buy. And it's pleasing to hear that many people are getting a lot of horses vetted and they'll be able to do the, get in here and, as I keep repeating myself here, and bid with confidence.
The headline grabbers, I guess the top end of the market, how do you see that playing out? Do they temper their investment? Is there a few that have maybe pulled out or, just obviously they've spent a lot of money the last few years? How do you see that top end?
Look, I think we've got a very good top end list of horses. I think all the right size are very well represented. Most of those buyers are still in play and still very confident about where they are. I would have thought, as I said, from that middle through the top end, I think there's a lot of confidence in those sort of horses. The blue chip investments are doing very, very well. There's plenty of those horses going to the racetrack and succeeding. And, I think, there's the colt market continues to be a market that has great depth in it, especially when you get it sort of up above, 400,000-500,000. And I think the fillies we have here on the grounds this year it's a group of fillies that we've yet to see here on the Gold Coast with the depth of filly we have here.
On that, it's interesting that, I did speak to Michael Wallace and Rajput Singh Rajput from Gandharvi, that they're sort of switching focus to fillies, that there is that residual value, obviously, but also they can get huge returns, off the track with, we've seen the likes of yearling and so forth paying huge sums for high quality mares.
Yeah, if you have a filly that, is well pedigreed and does its job on the racetrack, what you can come when you come here back to the Gold Coast in May, the year that you choose to sell it. It's huge money and it's a good return. So if you can back your judgment now and buy the filly that happens to run, you'll get paid very, very well. And I think even if they don't, the depth of pedigree and the type of these fillies, it takes you a long play, residually when you either breed with them or bring them back to market.
The vendors, have you spoken to the vendors? Sort of met them. Are pretty good at meeting the market. They understand what the market's like, and this market at the lower end probably is a bit tougher than it has been previously. How confident are you that they're going to be realistic in what they're going to be able to do and get those horses sold? And might not be exactly what they want it to be, but the nature of the market is it is a little bit polarised. The top end's strong, the middle and bottom end's a bit tougher. So do you feel like that's how it's going to evolve? That they understand what they need to do to get those horses sold?
I think they just set swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
So, I think most of them have got a reasonable number of horses here. So they haven't all got their eggs in one basket. So therefore, hopefully they make it up on 2 or 3 and they might be disappointed in 1 or 2. Yeah. So I think if that's the case and they're playing the numbers, they'll be willing to meet the market on the horses that are less desirable when they walk in. And, as we see each year, there's no reason why those ones aren't the ones that go to the racetrack and do what they need to do. So, as I say, opportunity, it's everywhere here on the complex. And, I think each and every year, this is a sale that clears nearly 90% each year for a huge volume of horses. So it's clearly the vendors like meeting the market here. And, I'd like to say we're clearing the same amount of horses as what we genuinely do, or will normally do in recent years. But, eyes wide open, that might not be possible. So, the clearance rate might come back a little bit, but I think, when we look back at the numbers at the end of the sale, I think they'll be very much in line with what they've been the last few years.
Barry, how do you think day one, the catalogue lines up? How's that fallen, I guess? And, the day one highlights, what can we expect tomorrow? Yeah,
I think it's a good, strong start. I think, the first 100 lots, it's a good, even lot of horses. I would have thought, plenty of depth to it without huge fireworks. But I think there's 2 of the most bespoke fillies that'll go to market in Australia this year being offered tomorrow, within 3 lots of each other. I speak of the Yulong's filly, the Written Tycoon, out of Away Game, and just before her, I feel that's before her, the I'm Invincible filly out of Avantage. I think they're two of the star fillies that are here on the complex, and there's plenty of star fillies here in the complex, but they're two of the high profile ones, and you'd think both those fillies will command 7 figures.
Well, we're sitting here on Friday, and we're chatting to you on Friday night about how book one's got. Have you got benchmarks in your mind about where you want to be, or is it a case of sitting there going, assessing the market, working out where it sits? And
well, I think this is the most important sale in Australia each and every year because it sets the tone for the rest of the season. So you never go in, you always go with some trepidation. It's the fear of the unknown, I guess, but we're confident in our product. We're confident that we've done our best to market the sale really well. We're confident we've got as many buyers here as we think we could have. Look, I'd be thinking that numbers somewhere in line, I'm not saying to the exact point as what we've had in recent years would be something that I'd be likely to be hoping to achieve. But I think, the new format will be really interesting. I'm really excited. Like the Howden Super Session on Friday, I think it's something really, really cool. And I think it really builds on itself. I think we've got some really pivotal horses that are late in the session, and that's an exciting way to finish. I hope, the industry gets behind the session. They bring their owners out. The syndicators get, we're looking to facilitate as many people here on the grounds as possible and open the bars up and have people pumping everywhere and really get as many people here to the grounds as possible and make this a winner because we think it's a great way forward and it's been embraced by both our buyers and our vendors. So super excited by the new format and just looking forward to getting underway tomorrow.
And just on book 2, Barry, obviously the horses will be arriving later in the week, but you're confident that the buyers will be there. I know some that are rocking up targeting book 2 specifically. You're confident at this stage how that's going to play out?
Yeah, well, it's a select sale in itself. We go out there, look at all those yearlings and grade them. And, as your Melbourne Cup winner could be in that session. Knight's Choice came out of that session a few years ago. So, look, it's a session that each and every year produces really good, solid horses. It's a trainer syndicator part of the sale. You might not find your blue chip horse there, but you're going to find the horse that's going to consistently take you to the races and win plenty of races. So look, we're liking what we've got to offer. And I think, having, a lot of horses to see Friday, all horses to see Saturday and nearly all of Sunday to do inspections gives ample time for buyers to get here to the Gold Coast and do their work leading into book 2.
Barry, thank you so much for your time on Straight Talk. All the best for the week. Yeah, it's obviously it's a great way to the industry to start the year. It's obviously very there's a lot of positive vibes around the Gold Coast. It's the entire industry is up here looking at horses, catching up, all those sorts of things, and it's a pretty remarkable week. And we'll have updates every day from Straight Talk after every day here up in the Gold Coast with Tim and I chatting through the day's action. We'll catch up with Barry throughout the week at different points to talk through where things are progressing. And we look forward to talking to you throughout the week.